This is Pastor Mbolekwa. It's Pastor H. Mbolekwa. You can call me Pastor H. The channel's name is Truly Speaking Truth. It's as a result that we all have to be edified, because both the spiritual life of a person and the physical life are important. Spirituality is important as physicality. So your life beyond this life is also as important as this life. So I'm encouraging you to watch this channel. It's not for believers, it's for everybody. Every human being on earth must know this. It impacts everyone, not church people, not any other religion. Everybody. It's for any person, the benefit of this channel. So you may subscribe and share this channel. You will be sharing information, because there's a saying that people perish because of lack of knowledge. So we must all be equipped with knowledge. Knowledge is important even to God, the Creator. Knowledge is important. So today, what I'm going to speak about is about the start of creation. It's where does a human being come from? Where all human beings come from. The theme, it will be divided into parts. This is part one. Then all these parts are under the theme original races. Today, this theme is about Adam as the first man, or Adam as the first human being. I used to get confused when I'm reading the Bible. The Bible saying that Adam is the first person on earth. I used to get confused, because from that information that Adam is the first human being on earth, then I would be flabbergasted when I'm reading about Cain, that Cain married somebody. I used to ask myself, if Cain married his own sister, at the same time there's some information around the life of Cain, that Cain went far from his home, and he met some people there, and even married amongst those people. So it used to confuse me. Then I would be asking myself that Cain has left his family, left his siblings to a far place, or not a country as such, to a far place, and then there he discovers that there are people, and he even saw somebody to marry. And now it made me wonder, if we say Adam is the first person on earth, that how come Cain fled from his family to somewhere else, and then he found a person to marry there? So it didn't settle well with me that Adam is the first human being on earth. So I tried to read the Bible, to study it, being not in a hurry, taking every detail, every word that the Bible says. The book of Genesis is the book that we are going to be speaking about. I would encourage you to listen to this, even if you have nothing to do with the Bible. But just listen to this. I also have to listen to the Quran, even if I don't think that the Quran is not of my interest. So I encourage you to read for just because of information, for the sake of information. So Adam as the first human being, that's what we are speaking about today. Adam as the first human being. Is it true that Adam was the first human being on earth? In the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 26, we find out there that God created two human beings, a female and a male. It's Genesis chapter 1, 26. It tells us there that God created a male and a female. And then it states that both this male and this female were created out of the dust of the earth. Perhaps in other words, out of the soil of the earth. They were created, both of them. They were created out of the soil of the earth, out of the dust of the earth. We don't know their names. This first male and the female, we don't know their names. But it is clear God said that it is saying that here that God created the male and the female out of the dust of the earth. And it states even that those two, they were made in the image of God. In Genesis chapter 1, that book is talking about the creation of the earth. And then we know that after everything was created, the last thing that God created is this first male and the first female. So they were the last creations to be created by God. Their names are not mentioned. They are just mentioned as a first male and a female. So, and then in chapter 2, Genesis chapter 2, verse 15, Genesis 2:15, it reads, God took the man and put him in Eden. Chapter 2 is about Eden. It's where we hear about God creating Eden. God created Eden. And then after creating Eden, God saw that a human being ought to inhabit Eden. Just like human beings inhabited the earth. So we are going to find out of the Bible what's the difference between the earth and Eden. God created the earth in Genesis 1. After creating the earth and finishing the earth with everything that is on earth, he created the first male and the female. So thereafter, in chapter 2 Genesis, God is creating Eden. And then after creating Eden, everything is there in Eden. Then God saw that it was good, everything that he created Eden was good. Then God thought that there must be a human being even here in Eden. a human being has to occupy Eden. But now it is saying that God did not create human beings in Eden out of the dust of Eden. It is saying that now it's as if God went away and took a human being somewhere and put him in Eden. It is written as such in the Bible that God took Genesis 1:15. It is saying God took a human being and put that human being in Eden. This human being was not made in Eden, was not created in Eden, was not made with the dust of Eden, but he was taken somewhere and was put into Eden as a complete human being. And then that's where now this human being that was taken somewhere into Eden, and then we start hearing that has been introduced as Adam. And then now there is a human being in Eden. And then God is saying that God saw that this human being who is in Eden is alone and is lonely. So God decided that he must create a partner for this human being that is in Eden. And then now it does not say that God took the dust of Eden to create the partner for Adam, but it says that God gave Adam a sleep, and then he took part of his body. He took, I don't want to say a rib. I don't know whether some of the Bibles say rib, but he took some flesh from Adam to create Eve. And now, when Adam wakes up from that deep sleep, he saw that no, there's somebody now in Eden. And when he saw that person, he named that person Eve. And now, as we read chapter 2, we know that there's already human beings. There's this first male and female that were created. The first female was not made out of the flesh of the first male, but they were both made out of the dust. But now here in Eden, we hear that God created there in Eden only one person, a female. He created that female not through the dust of Eden, but he created that female out of the flesh of the male who is called Adam. I find it now that these are two different instances about this female, the second female in Eden. So now let us find out the name Adam. I've tried to search to search what does the name Adam mean. Where I've been searching, I found out that the name Adam was the Hebrew word meaning ground, or I may be saying ground or soil or even dust. Yes, the name Adam, ground. So, and then it makes me to understand that that's why God now in Eden, he saw that the ground to create, or the soil to create the partner for Adam is nowhere else than in Adam himself, because Adam is the ground, is also the soil. So when God was looking at Adam, it's as if he saw Adam as the earth to create Eve out of. Because God now did not take the ground of Eden. He took the ground of the earth in Eden. And then that ground of the earth in Eden was found in Adam. So he took that ground to create Eve. Now, to me, I'm getting to find out that now, no, there is a difference between these two places, the earth and Eden. They are different places in different spheres. That is, I mean that Eden is not on earth, but Eden is, earth is there, Eden is there. So even the Bible helped me to understand this, because I think we still remember that God went away to take a man into Eden. It says, so it means he went to the earth, because on earth there were already human beings. So he took one of the human beings on earth and took him into Eden. Now I am interested that now we get to know Eden. Is Eden also the earth or part of the earth? In Revelations 2 verse 7, it is said, to him who overcomes shall be given to eat the tree of life, which is in paradise. Revelations 2 verse 7 says the tree of life is in paradise. But now if we go to Genesis 2, Genesis 2 will tell us the tree of life is in Eden. Genesis tells us the tree of life is in Eden. But the book of Revelations tells us that the tree of life is in paradise. In other words, the book of Genesis calls paradise Eden, and the book of Revelations calls Eden paradise. Eden and paradise is the same place with two names. You either call this place Eden or you either call this place paradise. Eden is paradise. And now let's go and find out now, what is paradise? The Bible helps us here. Jesus spoke during his crucifixion. Jesus spoke to one of the men he was hanged with. He says to him, tonight or today you will be with me in paradise. Jesus was about to die, and the other person he speaks to was also about to die. They would be dying during that day. And then Jesus says to him, the person will be with him in paradise. In other words, the person will be with him beyond this life. So we know that a dead person is escaping from earth to another place. So we used to say there is what we have known to be called heaven. We have also a belief that after this life we will be having some other life in heaven. If Jesus, when he's about to die with this other person, says to this person that that person will be with him in paradise, he means that that person will be with him in heaven. So now paradise is the other word for heaven. If you have said that after this life we'll be in paradise, it's the same as saying after this life we will be in heaven. So we get to know that Eden was not on earth, but Eden was heaven. In other words, when God was creating Eden, God was creating heaven. Wherever the Bible speaks about earth, to link heaven and earth together, it will be speaking about heaven and earth. That it is also written that this earth and its heaven will pass away, and also that there will be a new earth and a new heaven. In other words, there is this earth, and this earth has its heaven. And then I believe that the heaven for this earth is Eden or paradise. And then there will be another earth that is coming. The Bible calls it the new earth. And the new earth also will be having its new Eden or its new paradise. If there is earth, there will also be its heaven. Earth goes with heaven. It's heaven and earth. The current earth with the current heaven. The current heaven of this present earth is paradise or Eden. Now all this tells us that Adam is not the first human being on earth, but Adam is the first one to get into heaven in this physical body. So Adam is the first person to inhabit heaven in the earthly form or in this physical form. He is the first one to inhabit heaven. Now it means that the person we know as Adam is not the first person on earth, because the first people on earth were two. It was the first female and the first male. So these were the first human beings on earth. But now Adam was the first person to inhabit heaven. We also have hope that we will inhabit heaven someday. But the first person to inhabit heaven is Adam. Adam is the first person to be raptured into heaven, because Adam was a person, a human being, who God took from the earth and put him into heaven. So Adam is the first person to be raptured from earth into heaven. The rapture that we are expecting, it will be not the first rapture. Even Enoch was raptured, because Enoch just was not found on earth. It says that God had taken him. Enoch was raptured. So Adam also was raptured into heaven in this form, in this earthly form, without having dying first in order to enter heaven. Adam is the first person to inhabit heaven in this body that we have, without this body experiencing the grave. So I don't want to say it is not true that Adam is the first person, but it is not true that Adam is the first person on earth. But Adam is the first person in heaven, a first human being to invade heaven in this physical form that we are in right now as we speak. So now let me end here. We'll be getting into part 2. I will be coming to answer some of the things that I know that they are not answered, because you'll be saying to me that no, when God was coming to earth to take that one person, there were only people here on earth. No, there were not two. And they had also they had multiplied at that time. So let us see in the second part 2, we'll be going further. Thank you for listening. I've tried to make this not to be so long, so I'm thanking you for listening. And then will you share this information? Will you share this, and will you subscribe to this channel? Thank you very much. Have a good day or a good night. Depends at what time you are listening to this channel. Thank you.